go live, setting up your webinar. Hold on. This is always so fun. All the little quirks and things that we get to do.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And my ring died, so I got to charge it back up.
Okay. Well, you can go ahead and plug it in while we're kind of getting set up here.
Sounds good.
All right. So let me go back. How do I don't know where my screen went. Let's see. All right. Let me click out of that. Teddy, can you see me?
I can. Yes, I see you.
Okay.
You look
I don't know why
awesome.
I can't see you. Let me spread this out a little further. I don't know why I see you. I don't see you, but I'm going to pull it up someplace else. So everyone, welcome. So glad that you're here tonight. I'm not seeing a whole lot, but that's okay. I'm really excited that you're here tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jennifer Jobson, and I just want to welcome you to this Facebook Live. And we're doing this because we really want to share the information about this fantastic product. So I hope that you hear tonight something that leaves you fascinated enough to want to give this product a try. And for those that are using the gel, I hope what you hear tonight confirms that you've made a tremendous decision for your health. So just take a moment, if you would, and just click share. Maybe you're in this page called One Product Amazing Results all by yourself. Maybe you're in it with some friends. And obviously, if you're a rep with this company, please share this with the people that you have invited to this page, because they're going to want to hear this information. Everyone that you care about, you want them to hear what we're going to be talking about tonight. So here we go. So I'm going to introduce myself while everyone is sharing away. My name is Jennifer Jobson, and I live in the lovely Carolinas. I'm a mother of 3 amazing guys, and I've been married to my high school sweetheart for 27 years. I'm a master Pilates trainer and studio owner, and I've been in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years, and I'm so passionate about helping others live their very best life. And that's why I'm bringing Teddie to you, because when I met her and I heard her speak, I just knew that she would be the person that I'd want to bring to you guys to share with you more information about the gel. Personally, I've been using the gel now for about 7 months, just over 7 months, and I have had tremendous improvements in my sleep, in joint issues, lady issues, that's all I'll say about that, hair and nail growth, energy, libido, vision, weight loss, and it just goes on and on. And I'm sure that Teddie will be able to share her experience as well. So let me please introduce my guest next. Her name is Teddie Miller, and she's a classically trained naturopath. She's been in practice for over 12 years with a 7-year background in clinical. She's also a certified nutritional counselor in MTHFR. Go Google it, because I had to. She works with peds and adults. She specializes in hormones. She's a mom of 4. I mean, whoop, whoop, shout out just for that, Teddie. And then also the US veteran. That's a bigger shout out. Thank you for your service, girl. So Teddie also runs a nutrition cancer ministry. So welcome, Teddie.
Thank you. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And I'll tell you, I lived in the Carolinas for about 14 years. So I miss it. I love it, but not in the winters. So thanks for that lovely introduction and having me on as a guest tonight. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I've got a little bit of cough, and so I'm going to just put a cough drop in. Give me 1 second. Welcome to Carolinas with allergies. All right, so here we go.
Oh, yeah, I don't miss that.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? It literally snowed, rained, and the sun came out today. And oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to ugly choke here. Sorry, everyone.
Oh, okay, no.
So, Teddie, 2 million bottles of gel are being manufactured each month, and we've had over $60 million in sales. And I'm going to let you take it over because I got to choke.
Sure, go ahead. Get some water too. That might help a little. So, you know, there's a lot of things happening with this amazing product. As you said, there's quite a few benefits going on that we see. Our first year, we sold over 500,000 bottles and $60 million in sales. And 3 months of that, we had to go figure out how to make more product because there was a shortage. So a lot of people had to live without product for 3 months, and it was dramatic. And it was like a lottery, right? Who would get their bottles first? Who was going to keep it? Who was going to share it? So when you have an amazing product like that, and we have to go out and open a couple of more distribution plants to make the product to meet the demand, it's absolutely amazing. And some of the reasons that that kind of took place is because the product was being formulated and increased, but we still had this massive increase of sales and people who wanted to pre-order a bottle. So when you think about the dynamics of that, and then when all the product came back in stock and then started shipping out, the last 4 months of the year were the most, financially lucrative for the company, and the results that started pouring in. So when you see results that match the efforts of the team and out there sharing experiences, because that's what we do on a daily basis, we share those experiences. And I'll just give you a brief synopsis of what I experienced. And what brought me to the gel was a motorcycle third-degree open infected wound burn. And a lot of people may not know this, but in third-degree burns, and in serious cases, they use HGH to help boost the immune system, to help the repair and recovery of the tissue in the skin, and some other major factors. And I thought, well, I'll try this. 4 people told me about it. I'll go ahead and try it. And if it helps on the outside, because there are some healing properties with aloe to soothe the skin and the repair of rate of tissue, I put it on there, and about a week later, my burn looked so much better. And I was like, whoa, what if I really started using this product where it was made for, not this purpose? And I wonder what results I would get. So in 4 months, I dropped about 17 pounds with no change in diet. My immune system and my digestive system were running efficiently. And with 3 autoimmune issues, you don't see that very often. And I'm very sensitive and very careful about what I use on and in my body and on my skin. So with that being said, my hair, nails, skin, tissue, fat, and sugar metabolism was all working very well together. And I was very happy because in the formulation, there's the thyroid and adrenal support. So now that I'm feeling really good, I'm back in the gym and I'm working out, and I have that excess energy to maintain and wake up with vigor and vitality. Because as we age, we really want those things. We don't want to just be run down and broken and not moving very well, and not, skin and tissue and all those issues that go hand in hand with the loss of HGH. And, our highest form of HGH is when we're growing. And at 20, it topples down. And if you think about yourself at the top of a mountain and you're going to go down the mountain skiing, you're going to go at a gradual, steep incline. And that's what happens to HGH. So at 20, it topples. It goes down about 50%, and about 25, we start to feel tired, and we don't have that energy and that vigor anymore. And women typically lose it faster because of having babies and additional stress, and we're very busy people in our lives. So if you start looking at those factors, and then our adrenals blow out and our thyroid goes out, the whole idea is that we don't have to get old and slow down and get fat and be unhealthy. We could actually have that long-term vigor and health. We do have to do our part with what we put in our mouth and how we exercise and how we get more oxygen in the body. But also, this little bit of gel that we rub on our bodies does make a big difference.
Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of adrenal and thyroid support, can you talk a little bit more? Because those are 2 important components in the gel, and sometimes we kind of glaze over it because we're so excited about the HGH.
Yeah, and that's typically what happens, right? We know how powerful HGH is, but from day one, I've said, oh my gosh, thyroid and adrenal support, you will never see this anywhere else, and you won't. Because you need those master hormone, you need the HGH to play with all the other organs in the body, and it's like a wake-up call for the adrenals and the thyroid. It's that thyroidium that gives us support. And yes, there are other products on the market, and for 13 years with women that came to me in a stressful situation, I'd put them on adrenal support and I'd put them on thyroid support, and it would take them an average of 4 to 6 months to see a tiny bit of improvement and a long-term solution, to where I could give a bottle of gel to somebody, and when 3 or 4 days go by and they're already feeling the benefits, because it bypasses the digestion in the liver and it doesn't have to process. It's already inside the bloodstream, and it's already telling your pituitary gland, excrete more, excrete more. We're having adrenal support. My thyroid's good. Let's get to work, guys. Wake up, wake up. And then you have this whole body wake up with the glands, right? And that's what the product's supposed to do. It absolutely delivers. So if you're having a sluggish thyroid and you need some help, this is a great homeopathic option. 9 out of 10 people that come to me, they have adrenal issues. They just don't know it. And when we start talking about why they're tired or what they're doing to help support their adrenals, one thing that you can consider stopping is coffee or energy drinks, because that does diminish the adrenals. It shrinks them. And, a lot of kids from college are drinking these energy drinks, nurses, doctors, they're drinking all these energy drinks. They're drinking coffee. There's coffee on every single corner in every single country or town or city that you live in. And we're drinking this stuff like crazy with massive amounts of sugar, which hinders the liver, and the coffee that takes a toll on the adrenals and your minerals. And you want to replenish those organs, not keep taking away. Yeah, that coffee feels good for that adrenaline rush, and it's a methyl donor. And by the time that it diminishes, some people can't drink coffee because they can't metabolize it well, and that's genetics. But if you think about it long term, if you can find a solution that hits the nail on the head in 3 different areas to help support the whole component of the body, would you be willing to give that a try? Absolutely.
I love that. And it's so true, because it's so simple. And one of the things that you just said that I had in my notes from Charlotte is that the energy drinks actually shrink and calcify the pineal gland. Is that right?
Right. Absolutely. And if you don't have full functionality of that, you're in a bad situation. That's all I'll say, is you're in a really bad situation. But that's why they're so addicting, because they give you that instant kick, and you go back to get that instant kick, and you go back to get that instant kick. And if you don't have a substitute for that kick, then what's going to happen is, obviously, it's an addiction. And that's why when people go off of coffee and they start to have withdrawals and headaches and just feel blah, right? You want to be able to support the adrenals. You can do it through nutrition and food and other supplements, but this is just an easier, quicker way to help you wean from those. I think I've helped maybe 30 people in the last month wean from coffee, and they are absolutely feeling amazing, see better metabolic performance, things happening in their bodies biochemically that they would have never experienced had they not cut that 30-year addiction. People were drinking 5 cups a day and wondering why they still were gaining weight and didn't feel well. And it's not just about the coffee being acidic and pulling the minerals from your bones and shrinking the adrenals and all these other things. It's about what we put in it, the creamer, the sugar. There are ways to healthier it up, but there's other ways that we can use the stored energy in our bodies to be able to feel that vibrance and that vigor, and drop a little bit of weight.
Well, I think it's an easy solution for people, when they go to the coffee or the energy drinks, because they're getting that energy, but they're not realizing what they're doing to their adrenal glands, right?
Yeah, and that's just part of it, because, like I said, the liver is hindered by the sugar. You have to break down that fat. And if you have a fat metabolism issue, that's going to be a struggle, because some people don't use fat for fuel in their bodies. And that brings me to a really popular diet right now, where a lot of people go on this diet and they gain weight, and they can't figure out why Susie next door to them is losing 40, 50 pounds very quickly. And they're not, because their body processes fat in a different manner. So, your body may need some extra benefits to feel and utilize that fat to break it down to make that healthy cholesterol for hormones, and some other body functioning. So for our nails and our skin, right? Because you've seen probably people with very dry skin. It's a fat metabolism issue, and it's
Oh, wow.
obviously an angry skin condition that develops in the gut, right? So there's gut imbalance. But the key is to get that fat metabolism burning effectively so that you can drop some weight, feel good, feel healthier, lower your bad cholesterol, make sure that you don't have gallbladder issues, gallstones, sludge, liver issues. And you typically see fat metabolism issues right after women that have babies. They usually have to have their gallbladders out. And that just starts a whole cycle of fat metabolism issues.
Can we talk about the 5 main body systems? I know that the gel improves every body system that we have, and you kind of covered this a little bit in Charlotte.
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to talk about the 5 major pathways. One being skin, tissue, hair, nails. That's important. The second one, fat and sugar metabolism. I just talked a little bit about fat, but also sugar. And HGH helps regulate those 2. And the third one is digestion and immune support. And the last one is cardiovascular. So if you look at those 5 major pathways that I like to talk about, if you look at 5 of them, the top 3 are the killers in our country. 1 is heart disease, 2 is cancer, and 3 is sugar. So remember, everything that we talk about tonight is for educational purposes. We don't claim to cure, treat, heal, prevent, or mitigate any medical issue out there in the community. But these are natural ways that HGH helps support the body systems. So when you see those 5 mechanisms and you might fall into one of them, you might have friends that that are short and obese. Boy, those people need more HGH than you can ever imagine, right? So I'm giving you some key indicators on how you can help some people that may not even realize they have fat metabolism issue, HGH issue, sugar metabolism issues. A lot of people do know if they have it. But these are key indicators that will help you help a lot more people.
Well, I think it's cool too, because being a smaller built person, I noticed that sometimes, especially as I've gotten older, it's gotten harder for me to lose weight or to maintain the size that I'm used to. And I know that, the HGH has helped me so much. The gel has been a lifesaver for me, giving me so much more energy. And I'm really now at month 7 is when I'm really now beginning to see some of the weight loss. Is that normal?
Yeah, it can be normal because remember, all body systems are unique, right? We all have a different biochemistry base. We all have a different genetic makeup. So as we age, and we put something back into our bodies, it can take people, 4 to 6 months is a sweet spot. I see a lot of people start getting really good results 4 to 6 months. But then I've seen people come in and in a matter of 2 months, they've dropped 20 pounds. And I'm like, wait a minute, that didn't happen to me. I'm struggling over here. And you just walked in and you're 2 sizes smaller and you look fantastic. And you've got some beautiful skin and no wrinkles. Well, our genetics are all different. So when you see that happening, you have to remember that person may be working out 4 or 5 times a week. They might have a cleaner diet. They might be drinking a lot of water. Water is very important. Those who drink alcohol may have slower benefits and slower effects because alcohol ends up as sugar in the body. How do we mitigate that sugar? The fat and sugar metabolism issue will be supported, but it's also working within your parameters of your body functioning. So when you say, well, I've been on it for so long and I'm just seeing some benefits, your body may have been so unbalanced that it didn't know what to address first. It goes for the thing that you needed the most, and that was probably sleep for restoration, rejuvenation, regeneration of cells, right? Because that's typically what we die and lack of is, no sleep. And once we get sleep, things begin to happen in the body. And I'm just guessing here, maybe you were a little bit more stressed than most people, right?
Yes.
Stress comes in different forms: financial, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, whatever form it came in, you probably had to address some of that. HGH is highly associated with boosting moods, brain support, feeling more confident. I just did a live last night with one of my healthcare practitioners, and she just shared a lot of the studies in regards to the mood support. I just did a live with the you met Lisa and Jeff in Charlotte,
Yeah.
ex-NFL, and his wife, Lisa. We just did a live and we talked about some of those mood boosting that he experienced. So you'll see a lot of people that have that mood boosting right away, which then if your endorphins are happy and your serotonin's happy and all these other biochemical messengers are telling your body that you're happier, you're fuller, you're not going to eat as much, and you might see some caloric decrease, right? That'll give you your body some time to balance out. But remember, when you begin to lose fat, hormones hang out in our fat cells. So when you start losing fat and it goes back into the bloodstream, some body changes may occur. Some may not be as comfortable as you might think. Older women that have already passed menopause may have some spotting, and men may have a boost in testosterone. So they went through their midlife crisis and then no libido, and all of a sudden they have it back. Or women that are too tired and lost the lack of sex drive, all of a sudden have it back. So those are some good benefits that you see happening. And, just a little tiny sex drive can save a lot of marriages, right?
Yes.
I'm just speaking from the heart, and I usually speak raw and real here. And anywhere I go, if you meet me, I'm the same person as you meet that I am here. And a lot of people will say, boy, you're pretty spot on. I'm just telling you the way it is, right? One of the things that I will share from a personal standpoint is the first thing that came into play was my moods. I could retire my broom. My kids love me a little bit more. Those things fell to the wayside. And, the calm and the peace that has come to me has been a really nice change after being in the military under stress and all these other issues. But I will say the power that the gel has in your life can make a big difference. So is this a lifelong thing that we're going to be doing? For me, I will use it every single day until I say, okay, I might not need this anymore, but it only lasts a couple of hours in your system. So of course you're going to want to keep reapplying it if you're feeling well. And that's the key to homeopathy. There is a surge of energy in the product. And if your body is lacking that energy for a long time, that's where the body will repair first. So when you said, oh, I haven't really seen a lot of this, but over a long term, you may see a better benefit as your body begins to balance out in the other areas.
That's what I like about this product, Teddie, is the fact that I kind of describe it like a heat guided missile. So for each individual person, like you just said, maybe I saw the weight loss a little bit further along because I had other things that my body needed to deal with. But, when your hormones are balanced, your body begins. And for each individual, that rebuild might start in a different area. Most people, it does begin with sleep and then that elevated mood. But can you kind of share a little bit more about how the hormones begin to balance and rebuild? And you kind of already have said that about how each individual, kind of like for me, a little bit farther along on the weight. But can you expand a little bit more about with the hormones, using the gel, when people begin to see that month one, they should experience this, and month two, they should experience that. If they don't see it, are we talking about changing the dosage? Are we talking about changing the time of day that they use the gel? What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So keep in mind the guideline is the 6-month guideline. That doesn't necessarily mean that your body will see some of that, but that's typical that what we see in those 6 months time frame. Now, that's a great question about dosing and when do I take it, and I usually use this as a guideline. Over 30, you're probably going to want to take it once or twice a day. Right before you get out of bed, I have a bottle by the bed and I use mine, or in the bathroom. And before you eat on an empty stomach is always best. And then before lunch, right? So there's 2 doses, and I use another one at 3 p.m. So I make sure that my body metabolizes it pretty fast. I'm using it, every 3 hours. And by 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm ready to hit the bed. I love my bed. I love sleep. It's great when you can actually feel that you can go to sleep and not just lay there thinking all night long about tomorrow or my kids or shopping list, or I got to buy this on Amazon, or I forgot to do this today. So those are some of the benefits that your head hits the pillow and you're out like a baby, because we need that restorative sleep. We need our bodies to rest. We need that circadian rhythm to stay consistent with our body's natural needs. And when you do that, the hormone balancing, it's a delicate act. But if you're going to bed and you're wide awake and you can't sleep and you get a second wind, that's usually a hormonal imbalance of cortisol. And if you wake up in the morning and you can't get up and you just want to go back to sleep, that's a lowering of cortisol. So cortisol should be high when we wake up, and think about mountain slope again, high when we wake up and diminish over the day's time, so that when we lay down, we can sleep and have that restorative sleep. So that's one of the major hormone components that I struggled with my entire life, is cortisol. And the other one is estrogen. So yeah, I had a hysterectomy in May of 2016. Thank goodness they left my ovaries. I have my hormones checked every 6 months. They look better and better and better every time I go in. And the doctor's trying to ask me, oh, well, we don't need to do shots or pellets, because I came to a point where I may need to use those. And I was like, I'm not using those. I'm not getting shots, and I'm not doing pellets, and I'm not doing patches. So I'll figure out how to do this naturally, because I've been helping people for so long do it naturally. You can do it through foods. So for example, if somebody comes in and they're low testosterone, we'll put them on testosterone boosting foods. And, back then I didn't have the HGH in a cream or a transdermal. So we would basically say, okay, you needed testosterone, we'll give you some injections. We would never discuss the master hormone, right? Because it was expensive. A lot of people couldn't afford it. There's cycles, you have to cycle off. And when you cycle off of something like that, you experience a lot of despair, not just the physical aspect, but the mental aspect. So that's how powerful HGH is for the body. And some of those people couldn't handle that. And that's one of the reasons why Alexi made this product for those athletes off cycle. They had to be able to get through it mentally and physically. So, the hormonal component can vary from one person to the next, because our bodies are so uniquely different. So you have to make sure that you know your hormone-based guidelines so that you know what to address. Hopefully that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. And I just want to pop in what you said about the circadian cycle. The circadian cycle,
Yeah.
I love it because it is designed to help your body know when to sleep and wake and other things, and the hormones. And one of the things that I noticed, and I know it's related to my body getting realigned with my circadian cycle, is the fact that around 10 o'clock, I'm getting tired. And I used to be a night owl. Like, ask anybody on my team, and I was like texting or, doing a video conference at like 11, 11:30, 12. Now by 10 o'clock, I'm done. It's like my body says, girl, it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah, you should be out like a light. Absolutely. And your body will know based on those little improvements here and there. Absolutely. I just noticed it got so dark in here because the sun set behind me. So I'm going to lean over and turn on a light real quick. Hold on. Don't go anywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as we're going through, Rachel is kind of working through the feed on our live. So if you have any questions for Teddie, you can drop them in there. I hope you help much. I think Teddie's phenomenal. And she gave me so many aha moments when I heard her speak at a conference in Charlotte. Are you ready? Are you back?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm back.
So I wanted to ask you something about this. So for people, Teddie, that are doing, say, hormone pellets or hormone replacement therapy, first of all, can they use the gel? And second of all, will they have the opportunity, because we know that can be costly, can they eventually get to a point where they're going to get everything that they need from the gel?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I'll answer it two ways, because it's really important to understand the background of the gel and what happens to the body. So obviously you want to be monitored by your doctor. You can use both at the same time, but keep in mind that your levels may balance out so much you might not need the excess, or your doctor may decrease something. Same thing for thyroid medication. The doctor may decrease something, but legally, when you go into a doctor and you let them know, will you monitor me on this? Typically if you ask, can I use this? They're going to say no. They have to protect themselves. They don't know what the product is. If you ask them to monitor your levels, that's a better way to ask them. And they'll say, yeah, I'm open to it. And, typically I see this happen over and over again. When people start feeling better, they go to their doctors, they get their levels checked, and all of a sudden the doctor's like, what are you doing? I want to know more about this gel. And then they start offering it to their other patients, right? So that happens. It's a evolving thing that happens over and over again, and it's typical. But you want to make sure you're being monitored, your levels are being monitored. Is this something, again, that's going to be long-term for life? Well, until your body's balances out and you're able to sustain that, absolutely, right? I know that if, and typically you want to give your body a 2-day rest and your pituitary gland to rest. We usually go 30 days straight,
Right.
5 days on, 2 days off, 2 days to rest. I have people that come back and say, I can't take 2 days off. We'll keep going until you can get through 2 days without having to have that excess, because your body may need a little bit more than someone else. And now I finally got to where, I can go 2 or 3 days without it. But by the third day, I need it because I'm starting to feel tired again and lethargic. And I know some body changes are happening. So it's important to listen to your body's feedback, because that's what it's telling you. So if you're feeling amazing and you're now taking your thyroid medication and you're thinking something's off, get back to your doctor. Ask them to check your levels. Make sure you're being monitored. So absolutely, I've seen women lessen, decrease, and eventually stop some of the medications under advisement of their doctors. Don't stop cold turkey. That's not what we're saying. And you have to use your better sense and common sense. You know your body better than anyone else. So if you think that you're getting too much, you might be getting too much of something that you might have to cut back in some areas.
That's cool. And I think it goes back to that whole, this product's like a heat guided missile, where it really finds out the areas of your body that need help and that need that improvement. And I actually have had customers that I've personally enrolled who are lowering their thyroid medication thanks to being on the gel, because their thyroid is beginning to function as it should. And that to me is so exciting to know that, we're helping people to get their bodies to work again as intended. And the things in life, from stress to hormone imbalance and everything that changes our body, that we're able to offer them a solution to that, and to be able to get off medications, because we know, Teddie, right, that medications have side effects. Everything that we do to our body has a cause and effect. And I always say it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. And for the most part, again, we can't claim anything, or we're not here to, tell you to get off your medicine. But I mean, for the most part, Teddie, wouldn't you say that medications, they're good for you and you need them if you need them, but at the same time, if you can do something holistically, obviously that's the best path to take, right?
Absolutely. And that goes to say with anything in life, right? If you know that there's a side effect, you have to be cautious. You have to be aware of it. All medications don't work for everybody. Some bodies will not be able to utilize them very well. And with that being said, you have to play it smart, right? You have to research. There's some medications on the market, and even my own grandson was prescribed a medication that's very dangerous for the body. And I was blown away at the doctor's response. You have to research everything before you put something in your body, especially harmful medications, right? The doctor's not going to tell you they're harmful. But over time, the liver takes a hit. And if you can't process it, then you're going to have some major issues. But with that being said, you have to play it smart, right? Again, intuitively, you know your body the best. Now, keep in mind, there are some life-saving medications. We're talking about preventative, right? There's a fine line between, sugar regulation and then maybe being able to wean off through diet and holistic options. There's a cause and effect for everything, like you said, but you want to make sure that what you choose to do is second opinion is best for you.
Right, right. Very, very true. All right. So now that we've talked about that, can you just share a little bit
Mhm.
about some tips on product usage? And I'm going to throw some things at you. Okay. So
Yeah,
there are two schools of
sure,
thoughts
go ahead.
that I've seen with Somaderm. Some people say when you get started to go through dosing and loading those first 30 days straight. So I
Mhm.
want you to address that. And then I want
Yeah.
you to address the locations that
Okay.
you can put the gel, and if you need to
Mhm.
alternate them and shift them around. And then are there any other tips like we know about
Mhm.
the alcohol and so forth? So let's kind of focus in on the product usage
Mhm.
as we wrap things up here.
Sure, absolutely. So product usage is per individual, right? So like I said before, there's a good loading phase and it's 30 days. It takes anything 28, 21 days to become a habit. So if you get that first 30 days of loading, your body's probably been missing this for a very long time. You're going to have some better response. You're going to build up a little bit more in your body. Then we take a 2-day break, and then go back on 5 days, 2 days off, 5 days, 2 days off. Some people may need 3 doses. And, I always start everybody on half a pump for the first 3 days and then go to a full pump. Some people need a full pump in the morning, a half in the afternoon, a half in the evening before 3 o'clock. And I usually stop at 3 o'clock because there are some people that are energized too much by the adrenal support.
Mm.
If they can't sleep at night, definitely don't take it after 3 o'clock. There's going to be some people, for instance, that rotate it. Some may not need to rotate it. I'm a rotator. I rotate it on the top of my feet. I rotate it behind my knees, back of hands, forearms, underarms. Some people also apply it in their groin area, any thin, veiny skin area that is needed and used for rotation for support. So that's always best to rotate because your receptors can be sensitive in some areas. If you get a little rash or have a sensitivity, rotate that. Make sure you continually rotate. Alexi says that there's no major reason to rotate, but the corporate guidance from the medical board is to rotate it. But he's used it for the same amount of time in the same area with no issues. But you'll have people that come in that are sensitive, right? They're sensitive to some ingredients, and you want to go lower and slower. So some people use a little pea size for a few days, and then they work up to a blueberry size. And there'll be some people who can't do intensive loading, and that's 2 pumps 2 times a day. Oh,
Mhm.
that's too much. I'm having too much energy. Well, hey, use it, right? Go to the gym. But I'm saying there'll be different instances and circumstance for every individual. So you adjust till you find what's right for you and that you get the best benefits. So example, one of my practitioners came to me last week and said, I've changed the dosing, like you said. I'm finally dropping weight. I'm using 2 pumps a day, and it's working really well for me. And so I said, well, keep on it and keep on it till you continue to get your desired results. And when you get your desired results, you can cut back, right? Or
Mhm.
if you're having more issues, increase. So some bodies may need more and some may need less. Now, let's say this. I had a private call with Alexi in my practitioner group. I have a holistic vet. She's like, can I use this on my pets? Absolutely. They use them on horses and dogs. Cats, not so much.
Mhm.
So there's another tidbit of information to share. I don't know. What else do you want? Pick my brain. I've got about 5 more minutes. So pick
Okay.
my brain
Well,
on anything you want to know.
well, I've
Alcohol.
heard too,
Let's
some
talk
people
about
say,
alcohol, right?
yes, talk about alcohol for sure. Yes.
So alcohol ends up as sugar in your body, and that can diminish some of your results. So is there a workaround? Sure, there's a workaround. A lot of people talk about do your gel, drink, and then, for every single beverage of 6 ounces of alcohol that you drink, you need to flush that out with at least 8 ounces times 3 of water. So if you're going to have one beverage, have 3 glasses of water to flush it out.
Mhm.
But it still ends up as sugar. You have to go through that process to detoxify it, to get through the liver. Sugar hinders the liver from working. That's why some people can't drink alcohol as rapidly as other people. They can't metabolize it as well. But it may hinder your results. Does it mean that you have to stop it? No, you don't have to stop it. And I usually typically give the guidance, if you're going to drink wine or alcohol, do it on your 2 days off,
Okay.
right? Focus, because it negates spending the money on the gel, right? do it when you have your 2 days off, and then you get back on track. So those are some key workarounds, alcohol.
Fantastic. Yes. And I think too, like you said, if you end it like in the afternoon, that really helps too. And of course, when you're on your 2 days off, if you adjust it around the weekend, then you're good to go. So that's cool. Let me ask you, for people, like when I first got started, how much important the whole water factor is in taking and using the gel. Because I know when I first got started, about a week in, I got a little achy in my joints. And a friend of mine asked me if I was drinking enough water. And I was like, I thought I was, but I began to drink more and it completely vanished. Can you address that? Because there might be somebody watching this who has experienced something similar.
Yeah. Yeah. So by any chance, were you a coffee drinker?
Yeah.
Okay. So coffee is acidic in the body, and this is typically what you see with people drinking coffee. It's not specifically just coffee, but it's a key indicator. So I had a guy who was drinking 5 cups of coffee a day. He's calling me saying, my joints are just in disarray. I'm not feeling good. Water flushes that out and neutralizes the body. Water is oxygen for the body. It's able to flush out toxicity, right? We flood our bodies. Our bodies are 78, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I'm close, percent water. So if we're not recycling and getting water out with the bad, flush it out, then you're not getting the benefits as well. And the gel will negate those benefits because, again, the body's acidic. You have to keep balancing it and balancing it and balancing to have the best results. So that's one of the reasons why water is so important. Not only is it oxygen for the body, but it flushes out all the bad stuff. Flushes. You just want to keep flushing, right? And how does our body excrete toxicity through our skin, through our urine, and through our exiting strategy, whatever you want to say, you know?
Yeah.
It's got to come out some way, and those are the only ways, right? You can go to a detox and sauna and sit and sweat it out, but it has to get out of the body. It has to move out of the body. So when you were feeling tired and achy, and it could have been the coffee or it could have been the toxicity, because there is a detoxing component when you're starting to add something back in the body, and the body has to play nice with all the other organs. Some of these things can be released in the bloodstream, and you have to flush it out.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about getting started on the gel. For those that are watching that haven't gotten started yet, you can purchase this, and it's like less than $4.60 a day, something like that. And compare that to like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. What do you tell people if they say, oh my gosh, I don't think I can afford this, Teddie?
Yeah, and I just have to come back raw and real. Why can you not afford it, right? We maneuver every way to buy a new pair of shoes, an expensive handbag, makeup, coffee, all these other things. But let's get real. It's not for something a day. This bottle lasts anywhere from 5 to 6 to 7 weeks, realistically, right? Unless you are an endurance athlete, and I have athletes that are going through a bottle a week, okay? So unless you're an endurance athlete and you're using a lot of gel, and they're in competition, right? If you are using a lot of gel, why? Why are you using the gel? You have to go back to your why. Why did you start the gel? Are you getting the benefits from using it? So realistically, $70 a month, and I like to put a figure monthly. It could be $70 a month. Can you afford $70 a month? Yeah, I can cut back and sacrifice this and this and this. But I will tell you, I today save about $529 a month, and I track pretty much everything I spend. I don't need my B12 shot. I don't need all the supplements and vitamins I was taking, because remember, the HGH helps absorb nutrients better. Your body assimilates them better, because a missing HGH really affects B12. You can go Google all the other nutrients that are benefited from HGH. So you really want to take an account of what you're eating out, what you're spending, the money and savings from supplements and all these other things do matter. Some supplements I can't do without. I can't do without my omegas and my enzymes. And you have to really think about what nutrition you're taking in, right? Are you giving your body the best ultimate nutrition that it can to have the best outcome that you're looking for. So those are things that, you know, I cut out my run to Starbucks. You know, I had a bad addiction for many years. I was running on empty. And I don't want to say Dunkin' Donuts or anything like that, but there's some things that I cut out too. I cut out my cravings for as much sugar as I used to eat. I cut out a lot of excess, right? Eating out wasn't as important. Cooking home-based meals and adapting my lifestyle for the outcome that I wanted, and I'm still doing it. And remember, 6 years ago, I lost 109 pounds. So this is like an everyday journey for me. And when my thyroid went wonky a couple of years ago after my hysterectomy, I gained, you know, almost 24 pounds back, lost 17 and then gained some back. So I'm still on my journey to this ultimate, you know, weight loss, because sometimes we fall back and we get complacent or we slip up, or the more we age, other things start happening in our body, and we're like, dang, I thought I addressed this already, right? Now we got to go back to square one. So it's a constant evolving journey. So you have to think about, what am I putting in my body? What am I going to get out of it? And it's very mindful. You have to be very mindful of this process. So is it expensive? Not really. It is worth the 40 plus benefits. And I think I can check off about maybe 30. And I'm still checking some off every day, because the other day I was like, wow, I do have better vision. I'm not using my glasses as much. You can see me on videos where I'm not using them and they're on top of my head. And I'm like, where are my glasses, right? And I don't really need them. And driving, I need my glasses. I need them while driving. So there's all kinds of little components to the gel, cost and effectiveness and all these other things that really help the body systems.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, it's totally worth it. And as you use the product and you begin to experience and you have these aha light bulb moments, you realize how valuable this product is, and how it's just, I call it, my hashtag for this, Teddie, is the missing link. Because I always say you can eat clean.
Oh, absolutely.
And you should. You can exercise all day long, and you should. You know, whether it's this shake, that shake, vegan, paleo, whatever. You can do all of that to take care of your body.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the hormones and your adrenals and the thyroid and like you said, the pathways, you've got to be able to feed your body what it needs. And this product does it. There's just nothing like it on the market with all the benefits that you get. So completely worth it.
Absolutely.
Teddie, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on this thing with me. I absolutely adore you, and I'm so glad that we got connected in Charlotte, and I can't wait to see you in a few weeks in Dallas. You're going to be there, right?
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, yes, it's in a few short weeks. Absolutely.
I know, it's hard to believe we've got a new product coming. That's supposed to be another most amazing product, so I'm stoked. And from what I've heard, Teddie, it's supposed to really help the gel even more. Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to help enhance. It's a standalone product also, but keep in mind, if you're already on the gel, you want to be on the gel. It's going to enhance the gel effectively. And, you know, so many people struggle with one major thing in America today. And I'm sure you guys could probably guess that, you know, we all can use a few pounds out the window, right? And maybe shrink a little bit. And it's going to be an exciting product to see it launched. And some of the results that are coming from the people who are using it are absolutely amazing. I'm like, get me this product now, please. So a few short weeks, we'll all know what it is, and definitely be prepared to take some.
Well, fantastic. Again, thank you, Teddie Miller. Yeah. You rock, girl. And I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. If you have any questions, please get with the person that added you to this group. And if you want to get the product, definitely reach out to them. And if you forgot who added you to the group, just put a comment in this live, and our admins, we will make sure that you get connected with the right person. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. As always, thank you, Teddie Miller, for being here tonight. You are just a rock star. And I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Love you too, girl. See you later.
Yes.
And good night, everybody.
Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Peace, bunnies. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.